Hey guys, so while I'm taking a break from Path of Exile, I was playing Chronicon, and I think it's a great game, and the best I could describe this in short, it's like Diablo 3 but in 2D. It has most of the things that Diablo 3 has, but it's pixel graphics. So if you actually don't mind pixel graphics, and or even if you prefer pixel graphics, definitely give this game a try. And I wanted to make a short video kind of going what the game has. It's not like a review or anything, it's just a quick video of showing what the game has and what kind of end game it has. So I'm gonna put some action screen somewhere just to see the gameplay while I talk about other stuff. So you got your starting town, you got your NPCs, you got your story mode, you got your quests and stuff like that, your NPCs to trade and enchant, socket gems, and transmute and other stuff, and gamble if you prefer. And you got your stash, there's a shared stash, and you got like kind of your end game zone. Basically you start working for the Goblin King. So it kind of has like a rift system, or more like a greater rift system, or well, both. And first thing, many people kind of at first glance thought that this is a roguelike game, but this is not a roguelike game. It's more like an action RPG like Diablo 3, but 2D and pixel graphics. So you got your rift system, you can do dungeon runs, and you can increase the difficulty. I have no idea how I was supposed to do highest difficulty. 213 million% health and 60,000% damage increase. And that's not even on the highest difficulty. The highest difficulty is 220 million health. So I have no idea how that is achievable, but yeah, you basically select your preferred dungeons. If you do dungeon anomaly, you can kind of, if you die, you can go back to finish it. There is no limit of how many times you can die. But if you do elite dungeon, and if you die, then there's no turning back. You have to restart it. And it has a lot of classes. It has a lot of unique items, legendary items, I believe true legendary items. It has crafting system, enchantments, socketing. It has a lot of quality of life improvements, which I wish that Path of Exile would have. Like, it has AoE looting, and actually this circle around me is the loot AoE. But it also has auto looting, so you just walk through items, and in this circle you pick up the items that you listed in the loot filter. It does have loot filter, so you can kind of list the items that you only want to see and items that you only want to automatically loot. For example, I don't care about potions, elixirs, or scrolls, so I don't pay attention to those. And I'm only picking up uniques and legendaries and true legendaries, which I haven't seen yet. By the way, it's pretty easy to reach max level. Max level is 100, but it doesn't have massive pass like Path of Exile, but it does have multiple choices for your class, multiple choices for each class, multiple builds, and also masteries. The maximum level is 100, and you get I believe you only get 100 points. I haven't counted, but for masters I believe it's infinite. It's like Paragon system in Diablo 3. In Diablo 3 you just keep increasing and increasing your masteries. So you got so you basically got your kind of like a subclass masteries, and then 3 generic masteries to like increase life. And some points, some masteries have like limit 5. Some have limit of 20, and some have no limit, so you basically can keep increasing it forever. I guess forever. At least I think it doesn't have any limit. And there are quite a lot of builds to experiment, and yes, there are a couple minion builds if you want minions. I was also baited to play minions, but minions I think aren't that exciting. And the build that I'm currently doing is kind of like a fire ignite build. This game also has a testing dummies, which is cool. So you can actually see the damage done. You can actually show the damage over time, I believe. I'm not gonna search for that, but you can basically see how your skills would interact on enemies. So, example, I ignite enemies and they have a chance to explode, dealing AoE damage to surrounding enemies and other shenanigans. Now, of course, your inventory, your items, a lot of stats to go through and min-max those stats. Actually, I have decent damage, but I kind of ignored my resistances, so I'm pretty squishy. Can't really do higher than Mythic 2 League. Let me go over the enchantments and kind of crafting system. And this is not gonna be in depth, but just to show what kind of potential it has. So let's say this stuff, I actually enchanted it quite a lot. You can reroll attributes, you can enchant those attributes to even higher numbers. You can also add sockets and add gems to this, and you can also add legendary modifiers. Actually, I haven't tried adding legendaries, but there are also runes. Well, I guess runes had legendary modifiers. You basically, by the way, it's kind of expensive, so you don't want to waste your money too much. It isn't like suffix and prefix, but it is, let's say, kind of an affix, and some items do have like an implicit, like this one. Poison damage and shadow damage are implicits which cannot be changed. But the other, like increased damage, flat damage, fire damage, and bonus experience, those can be changed. But I already changed them, so you basically can augment. You can augment, let's say, the damage, but I already augmented to the max. And you also, by doing that, you also lock that mod, so that when you click reroll, it keeps the locked mods, but it rerolls the other mods that you did not enchant. So this one, if I did click reroll, it would reroll the bonus experience into something else, and it will cost me 86,000 crystals. It can be very expensive. Yeah, it did reroll into Magic Find, and on the right, my camera is a bit hiding, but it shows the possible mods that you can roll, and it's very handy. I wish kind of that Path of Exile would have that as well. It would just show the possible mods, and so you can kind of plan your items. If you find decent item, you can enchant it, or you can take a bit worse item and make it much better by rerolling if you got the currency. Of course, you can also gamble. You can also transmute. Where is it? Transmutation. I don't have a lot of recipes, but for example, if you consume 3 unique items, you get a new unique item. Yeah, there are a lot of crafting things you can do. You can also socket an item, and let's say I want to socket this. And you can review your kind of gems that you have. You can upgrade your gems into higher tier, so I would upgrade from this into higher tier. It also costs these things, whatever they are called, essences or whatever. And then you just punch the socket. Is that how it works? Yeah, you just punch the socket and then place an items that you want, place the gems that you want. It's kind of easy to make a mistake because you need to keep an eye on which shape you need for each slot, and then not mix the wrong gem. So yeah, gems can add a lot of damage as well, or damage and just general things. There's also gambling. If you want to, for example, let's say I do need a better amulet. So I'm gonna just gamble, and hopefully get something better. Not gonna check it. I mean, if you got loads of crystals and you don't want to farm, you can just gamble and hopefully get something good. And then enchant, and then add sockets, add gems, and make yourself OP. There are also resets. You can reset your masteries and your skills very easily. It's very cheap. You just buy the potions. Like I said, you can also get scrolls which cast like a random skill. Well, not random skill, but a scroll with a random ability. But I don't like using those. Let's say the Dancing Blades. That's what it does. It does Dancing Blades, I guess. And I kind of regret wasting that now. That looks kind of cool. So it consumes the scroll, and that's why I don't like consumable things, so I just keep the potions, and that's pretty much it. And the build that I'm doing, like I said, is like a fire ignite build. I hit enemies with my big AoE and basically one tap the enemies. Hit, ignite, move on. When enemies ignite, they keep exploding and dealing damage to other enemies, which can also, I believe, cause another ignites to other enemies, which is basically like a chain reaction. But my single target damage is not the best, so I don't really want to make too much about the build. It does have like an ultimate, so it turns me into a demon form. I basically grow wings, I become faster, and I think I do more damage, stuff like that. Yeah, I got other skills. This is like a debuffer plus damage over time. This one is a big damage meter. Also have passives which have a chance to double cast the skill, so I sometimes drop 2 meters, and there's yeah, there's a lot of things to do. And the game is not free to play, but it's pretty cheap. I believe it's like 10 euros. Sometimes if it's on discount, it's like, what, 5 euros, even less maybe. So if you haven't tried this game, definitely give it a try, especially if you are as bored of PvE as me. And maybe you're gonna have fun playing this game. Maybe it's even gonna become your main game, who knows. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say for now. I will most likely do a Wolfsen video pretty soon as well. This week I had pretty bad streaming schedule because I had to go to the procedures, which were basically a waste of time because it did nothing to my neck. But next week I should have more time, so I hope I will have more time to make some more videos and just in general play more and have more to show. So for now, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.